all really coming of age thanks to the push that we had from the whole pandemic. In fact, I had an interesting conversation with a client today, and we were talking about how COVID, recognizing and acknowledging all the terrible things that COVID has been, including, severe loss of life. But that set aside, the trauma, the impact of this epidemic has pushed medicine forward, has pushed technology forward. So for some people, this has actually been a blessing. And I'm going to tell you that for the American spirit of entrepreneurship, in fact, the American spirit of resiliency, which is what America is known for, being able to not, be able to bend but not break under pressure. And so as a result of that, now I think there are some businesses that were created. In fact, some businesses created and exploded. I mean, look what's happened in the world of the cryptocurrencies. Look what's happened in the world of medicine. You can just imagine the billions upon billions of dollars that have been created, from the PPE in the beginning to all the sterilization tools, equipment, not to mention all of the overtime. I mean, look what it's probably done in terms of an economic engine. And so if you were fortunate enough to be involved in any way and saw the opportunity and ran with the opportunity, it kind of goes back to one important thing. I've always said, in every business that I have ever started, and every opportunity that I have ever seen, I said, rule number one. And by the way, I took these. My father, when he started a business, and when he started businesses for other businesses as the incoming manager from another country, he said, rule number one is stay healthy. Rule number one. This is not in pandemic times or any kind of times. This was just rule number one. In order for us to really do a big push and achieve our goals, the one thing we have to have is our health. And I've gotten a bunch of questions over the last couple of weeks. I'm going to answer those, not today, but in terms of, what I do for health and energy, and how I lost 45 pounds during the pandemic, and all this stuff I do want to share with our listeners, because it's part of the whole thing. But the rule number one in a new business venture or in goal setting is don't get sick, stay healthy. And that's important. And it doesn't happen by accident. Some people are more blessed with higher health and strength and resilience and cardio and all that other stuff. But we can also help it and fortify it. So rule number one is don't get sick. Rule number two is don't fight, especially when you're dealing with a team effort. Rule number two is don't fight. And we can have discussions, we can have debates, and they're encouraged in a constructive and positive way, but don't fight, because when you make things personal, and I think Washington could certainly learn a lesson from both of those rules, is don't fight. It's okay to disagree. It's less okay to be disagreeable. And so kind of a sidebar there. Anyway, getting back onto our topics here on the Real Estate Show for this week, we were talking about the trends. And as I mentioned, these were the top trends that we talked about so far. We talked about number one, mortgages. Big deal because of the technology, because of the security, the online access to information, et cetera, that there's a whole bunch of reasons. Listen to our Monday and our Tuesday show to learn more about what we said there. And it'll also be, of course, available on our Sunday show when we replay the whole week. Then we talked about on Wednesday, a little bit further conversation than that, but we talked about where technology is going in the world of appraisals. And appraisals are a really important feature and a factor in buying real estate. Of course, you got to know what you're buying. You got to have a good idea as to the value. You've got to have good resources to get to the factors that lead to the value. And so more and more, the appraisal process is going into the virtual world. And like I said, picture this. That an appraiser who used to have to go to each individual house, photograph the house, then go back to his office, gather the data. The gathering the data can become pretty much automatic and can be set up for bots to go out and get the information from the various different sources that you need to have a solid appraisal information. You could send drones out to go do photographs, and you can do that with as many drones as you can afford to have. And then you bring all that back, and literally, instead of taking 3 to 7 days for an appraisal, you could literally have it back in hours. So the ability to buy a house is compressing and the time is speeding up. So that, we talked about that on Wednesday. I'm not going to go more into that really too much today. But then today, our ATM edition of the Real Estate Show, let's talk about cash. Let's talk about cash offers. And now let's remember back some of the shows that we had. In fact, we spent an entire week talking about a type of buyer known as the iBuyer. And they're like a new breed of firms that sort of want to be your rich uncle, if you want to think of it that way. And during and basically these are institutional buyers, not internet buyers. And these are institutional buyers. They're not investor buyers, although they act like investor buyers. They're not internet buyers, even though they do a lot of their process is now online. But this new breed of companies called the iBuyers, called institutional buyers, that during the housing boom, during the coronavirus housing boom, bidding wars became commonplace, which is completely counterintuitive when people should be sheltering down, conserving. Or the real estate market, instead of contracting or being paralyzed, even actually expanded. And in fact, if we have some time, I want to go. I looked at a couple of articles, and it's funny. Like one article said that the housing market was contracting, that new home sales dropped dramatically, and another one said that the market is growing. So, which headline is correct? When sellers weigh multiple offers, they tend to favor the sure thing, right? They tend to favor cash offers in their decision-making process, especially over less certain offers, or even whether they're slightly less certain or whether they're completely less certain. And when I talk about completely less certain, is buyers that still haven't caught up with the times, because ever since 2008, when all cash offers had to be accompanied by bank statements verifying that the cash was available, right? There was once upon a time you could make a cash offer with nothing more than a contract. No longer is that the case. Everybody, except for a few unsophisticated buyers and maybe a few uninformed sellers, would consider a cash offer without backup. And so these today, if you make an offer, you're required to have one of two things. It's the new normal. Either, if it's a cash offer, the verification proof bank statement of the cash in the bank ready to close, or B, if it's not a cash offer, then you need to have an approval letter. The pre-qualification letter is a thing of the past as well. Pre-qualification is basically you called up a mortgage broker, you told him verbally what you make, what your credit score is, and he went ahead and gave you a pre-qualification letter based on what you told him. Now, today, telling is no longer accepted, showing is. And so now a professional in the mortgage business will, number one, automatically and instantly pull your credit. Number two, they will request to see tax returns, bank statements, and other proof of income and assets that will solidify that. And then he'll give you a pre-approval letter. And yet, remember, a pre-approval letter could still have subject to maintaining that current and same job, subject to maintaining the current level of income or the amount of income, subject to not incurring additional debt that would change your qualifying ratios. And so that's important. So as a result, cash buyers often can score a slight discount even in a competitive market compared to buyers who are relying on financing. And cash buyers might be able to drive a harder bargain around inspection contingencies as well. And so, obviously, I don't have to argue too much to explain that a cash buyer is better than a non-cash buyer. And that brings the trend of 2022 is that you're going to see more and more offers required to be a version of a cash offer. And for that, I'm going to continue when we come back. We're going to go ahead and take a quick break, hear a few words from our sponsors. Don't touch that dial. You're listening to The Real Estate Show. My name is Eric Wilner. You're listening to The Real Estate Show. Don't stop listening to The Real Estate Show because we'll be right back. Cheryl Ann, how are you? Felipe, welcome. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas to you too, my friends. Simone, Merry Christmas to you. Gotta love. How is everybody? Cheryl Ann, long time no see. Glad to have you drop in. Thank you. Are you in Ohio or are you in Colorado? We got California, we got Boca Raton, we've got east coast of Florida, west coast of Florida. We got all over Florida, actually. So north and south, east and west and central. We got the compass points covered. And other places as well. And that's just on our Facebook. And there's our YouTube. Then who knows who's listening to us online and who's listening to us on the apps. Today we're talking about the money. Show me the money. We're coming back. And welcome back. For those of you just joining us here for the second half of The Real Estate Show, my name is Eric Wilner, and I am your host here on The Real Estate Show, which is heard live 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, live at 5. Remember that 5 p.m. Eastern time. If you can't listen to us live, you can always catch the rebroadcast of the show, on-demand version of the show, all at automaticlandlord.com. That's automaticlandlord.com. Go to the top of the page where it says The Real Estate Show. In the drop down, if you're there at 5, you can listen to us crystal clear on the internet live at 5. If you're at any other time, you can listen to the most recent show there. They're in chronological order, going backwards from the most recent on the top to the oldest one way down there somewhere, but it's literally years and years of recordings going backwards. So there's an unlimited amount of real estate. If you really want to soak your brain in real estate and get good at real estate for 2022, spend some time at automaticlandlord.com. Not to mention all the other areas in there. There's foreclosure lists on our website. There's our rate advisory. There's mortgage information, real estate information, anything to do with real estate, from search for properties right there on the website. Search for our events. Speaking about events, we've got 2 events already on the calendar now for January. On our January 11th, our Fearless First Time Homebuyers workshop. It's already starting to fill up. Which is real interesting. As I said, if you want to reserve your spot, and we've had a number of our workshops that have been blocked off, and we had the full capacity. There's usually a good number of people on the Fearless First Time, because we're talking about down payment assistance. We're talking about specific mortgage programs for first-time home buyers, or anybody that has not owned a property or been on title for the last 3 years. You fall under this first-time home buyer qualification. We have it at the state, county, and national level, some of these programs. So very worthwhile attending that program. Again, that's January 11th. It's online, so no matter where you are in the country, you can attend. It's on at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. And how do you reserve your spot? You simply text the letters DPA, as in down payment assistance. Text DPA to 561-861-2366. Once again, that's 561-861-2366, and boom, you are now reserved. It's free, complimentary, no cost, no obligation for that. That's on the 11th. On the 12th, we have our free sample investor class, and we're going to be going in a 2-pronged approach. You're going to hear this on the radio every single week. For the consumer side, the buyers, we've got special things, particularly for the first-time home buyers, which is our whole Fearless First-Time Homebuyer program. But for investors, we didn't leave you behind at all, because, as you know, that's one of our fortes, that's one of our strengths, and where we spend a lot of time helping to find great deals, good properties, put them under contract, help you with the negotiation. We coach our clients on how to own them, manage them, what to do, what the repairs to make, how to get maximum value, and then how to sell them forward when the time comes. We're a proponent of holding property for cash flow. We want to make real estate make us money all the different ways, from the appreciation to the equity buildup, whether forced or given, whether by the pay down of the mortgage. We want to talk about the tax advantages and take advantage of those, and those require a little bit of a hold. And so all of those things we're going to talk about in our Fearless Investor Workshop on the 12th. Again, 7:30 p.m. online. If you want to attend that, text the word investor to 561, same number, 561-861-2366. DPA for the Fearless First-Time Home Buyers, investor for the Fearless Investor Workshop. So back to what we were talking about, trend number 3 of the major 5 trends that I've been talking about. Cash offers. Cash offers are going to be the name of the game, particularly in a tight market, which we will continue to see. We're not going to solve this inventory problem overnight, or, in my opinion, anytime soon. I think we'll have a temporary window of opportunity, but see, you got to be ready to be a cash offer. So there are these new power buyers, hedge funds, SPACs, these power buyers. They have a very catchy take on the offering. And so they want to be sort of your rich uncle. That's what I was talking about. Think of these power buyers. They want to empower you, back you up if you can get into the list or onto the list. And so you're going to want to keep it here, because we're going to talk about that in the new year. A lot of companies have been making cash offers on behalf of buyers who don't really have $300,000, $400,000 in the bank. And these companies, and I'm going to name some of them: Homeward, Ribbon, Unlock, Better.com, all make cash offers on behalf of borrowers who later finance their deals through them. So you got to be vetted by some of these companies. And we're going to talk about that again in the new year. So one of these new breed of power buyers, they said, think of us as your rich uncle that's going to back you up. Imagine if you had a rich relative that would back your real estate dreams. Well, guess what? You don't have to have a relative. You can have one of these companies that is going to be a big trend in 2022. There's not a lot of them now, not easy to get yet, but I'm going to tell you that if you know how to do it, and we do, then you're going to like this, and you're going to be able to get better deals and faster deals and even get a little bit of a discount. The fourth big trend are the iBuyers, because after a setback, and we all had a long conversation about Zillow and what happened to them, they're still going strong. And there's a number of them. Remember, there was Zillow, there was Open Door, there was OfferPad. And the other ones, the Z guy, not so much, but the other ones are doing well and going nowhere in the coming year, except for getting bigger. So that's 4 of the 5 trends. For the 5th one, you're going to have to stay tuned and join us again here tomorrow. You remember, we're here live Monday through Friday. That's 5 days a week, live at 5 p.m. When you want to catch it fresh, catch it live. Otherwise, you can catch it at our website at automaticlandlord.com. So that's it for today. Until then, until same place, same time tomorrow, drive safe and make it a great day. Bye-bye. We'll see you tomorrow. Thank you. Wrap that up. And each day, a little bit more progress. We just ordered a whole bunch of new equipment. Some new lighting has arrived. A new screen is right behind there. It's coming together. And over the next 2 weeks, we're going to have a completely brand new. We're starting to take down and sort of loosen up the background. And got some new and exciting improvements coming up. Hey, Tony, how are you? We got Tony Rodriguez and we got Tony Bader and we got we got Tony. Remember that group back in the 80s? So anyway, I'm going to wrap it up here. I hope everyone's got all their Christmas shopping done and ready to go. Beautiful weather, it looks like, for Santa's sleigh ride across the world. So for all you kiddies out there, get ready. Santa's getting ready to take off. Speaking about take off, so am I. So have a great night. Remember, keep giving us the love. Thank you very much. That's helping to push us up on the online algorithms with the social media. Share this show on your website. Let more people know more about real estate. Let them know that you know the inside scoop about real estate as well. So thanks again. I'll see you tomorrow. Let us not forget our good friends at YouTube. Have a great night. YouTube. Bad pun. Another dad joke, as Jordan would say.